Becoming irreplaceable. 7. Stoic secrets to build valued relationships. Are you feeling invisible in a connected world? Hey there, let's get real for a moment. Ever feel like you're shouting into a void, pouring your heart out, desperate for someone to really see you for who you are? In today's world, we're glued to our phones, connected 24/7 through endless apps, notifications, and messages. Yet somehow, we're lonelier than ever before. You send a message, maybe to a friend, a partner, or a colleague, laying bare your thoughts, your emotions, your vulnerability, and crickets. Nothing but silence in return. Or worse, a half-hearted reply hours later that feels more like an obligation than genuine care. It stings, doesn't it? It's as if you're just a convenience to others, a background character in their busy lives, not a priority, not someone they truly value. Sound familiar? If you're nodding along, you're not alone. This feeling of being overlooked is something so many of us grapple with in an age of hyperconnectivity that somehow leaves us more isolated than ever. But what if you could change that dynamic entirely? What if you could become someone others genuinely cherish, not by chasing their attention, begging for validation, or bending over backward to please them, but by building a life so authentic, so grounded, and so true to yourself that they can't help but hold you in high regard? That's exactly what we're diving into today, and we're going to do it with a little help from the ancient wisdom of Stoicism, a philosophy that's been guiding people toward purposeful living for centuries. Stoicism isn't just some dusty old philosophy. It's a practical, timeless toolkit for navigating life's challenges with clarity and strength, especially when it comes to relationships and self-worth. Thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus weren't just philosophers sitting around pontificating. They lived through real struggles, ruling empires, facing exile, enduring personal losses, and yet they figured out how to live with purpose, dignity, and inner peace. Marcus Aurelius, for example, was an emperor who faced constant pressure, yet he remained grounded by focusing on what he could control, his own thoughts and actions. Seneca, a statesman who dealt with political intrigue and personal betrayal, taught the value of resilience and authenticity in a world full of noise. Epictetus, born a slave and later freed, showed how to find freedom within, no matter the external circumstances, by mastering your own mind. These Stoics understood something profound. True influence, true value in the eyes of others, doesn't come from external validation or forcing your way into someone's life. It comes from within, from building a life of integrity, self-respect, and purpose that naturally draws others to you. Their ideas, though ancient, are incredibly relevant today, especially when we're all struggling to feel seen in a world that often feels too busy to care. What we're exploring today are 7 Stoic secrets, practical, actionable strategies rooted in their wisdom that can help you become irreplaceable, not just to others, but to yourself. These aren't quick fixes or manipulative tricks to make people like you. They're about transforming how you show up in your relationships and in your own life. Imagine a life where you're not constantly seeking approval, where you're not left feeling like an afterthought, but instead, you're someone others naturally value because of the strength and authenticity you bring to the table. These secrets will guide you to cultivate a presence that's magnetic, not because you're the loudest or the most demanding, but because you've built a foundation of self-worth that radiates outward. Whether it's learning to hold space with strategic silence, using the power of storytelling to connect deeply, or knowing when to walk away from situations that don't honor your value, each strategy builds on the last, creating a roadmap to a life where you're cherished for being unapologetically you. This journey is about more than just how others see you. It's about how you see yourself. By applying these Stoic principles, you'll not only strengthen your relationships, but also deepen your relationship with yourself, fostering a sense of inner peace and confidence that no amount of external validation can ever provide. It's about becoming someone who knows their worth and lives it, someone who doesn't need to chase connection because they've built a life so rich and grounded that connection finds them. So, are you ready to take this step? Let's dive into these 7 Stoic secrets together and start building a life where you are not just seen but truly valued by others and, most importantly, by yourself. Stick with me. This is going to be a game changer. Let's do this. A Stoic path to connection. Let's set the scene and paint a picture of the world we're navigating together. We were living in an era that's louder and more connected than ever before. Social media feeds buzzing with updates, notifications pinging every few seconds, and a constant stream of messages vying for our attention. It's a digital age where you can reach anyone, anywhere, with a single tap. Yet despite all this connectivity, it's so easy to feel like you're fading into the background, lost in the noise. You crave relationships that truly matter, deep, authentic connections with people who see you, value you, and cherish you for who you are, not just for what you can do for them. But how do you get there? How do you move from being an afterthought to someone who's a priority, someone whose presence leaves a lasting impact? The answer lies in the ancient philosophy of Stoicism, a practical and timeless guide that can help you cut through the chaos and build a life where you are truly valued. Stoicism isn't just about fancy quotes or dusty old books gathering cobwebs on a shelf. It is a living, breathing framework of wisdom that's as relevant today as it was centuries ago. It's about practical tools that help you navigate life's challenges with clarity, purpose, and inner strength, especially when it comes to relationships. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor who ruled through turmoil yet remained a beacon of calm, once said that our true value comes from within, not from chasing external validation like likes, follows, or fleeting attention. He believed that real worth isn't to be found in how loudly you can shout or how desperately you can seek approval. It is in cultivating a life of integrity, self-respect, and authenticity that naturally draws others to you. That's the heart of the journey we are embarking on today, becoming someone who is indispensable, not because you're needy or constantly seeking attention, but because you are valuable, a person whose presence enriches the lives of those around you. What we're diving into today are 7 Stoic practices, actionable, grounded strategies inspired by the teachings of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, that you can weave into your everyday life to build relationships that are authentic, rewarding, and built to last. These practices are not about changing who you are to fit someone else's mold or manipulating others into liking you. Instead, they're about transforming how you show up in the world, helping you cultivate a presence that's magnetic and meaningful. Imagine a life where you're not constantly wondering if you're enough, where you're not chasing after people who take you for granted, but instead, you're surrounded by connections that feel real and reciprocal. These Stoic principles will guide you there, teaching you how to prioritize yourself without selfishness, how to listen in a way that makes others feel truly seen, and how to set boundaries that signal your worth. Whether you're looking to deepen friendships, strengthen family bonds, or even make a lasting impression in professional settings, these practices offer a roadmap to relationships that stand the test of time. This journey is about more than just how others perceive you. It's about how you perceive yourself. Stoicism teaches that the foundation of any meaningful connection starts with your own inner work. When you build a life rooted in purpose and authenticity, you naturally become someone others can't help but value. You'll learn to master your emotions, creating a calm stability that others trust, and rely on or to use the power of scarcity, ensuring your time and energy are treated as the precious resources they are. Each of these 7 practices builds on the last, creating a ripple effect that transforms not just your relationships, but your entire way of being. So grab a coffee, find a cozy spot, and settle in. Let us explore how to make your presence matter in a world that's constantly trying to drown you out. This isn't just a list of tips. It's a game changer, a chance to step into a version of yourself that's confident, grounded, and truly seen. We'll walk through each Stoic practice together, breaking down how to apply it in your life, and by the end, you'll have a toolkit to create connections that are deep, meaningful, and lasting. Let us dive in and see how Stoicism can help you become someone whose presence isn't just noticed, but cherished. You're ready for this. Let's make it happen. Make your presence rare. Let us start with a concept that might sound counterintuitive at first. To be more valued by others, make yourself a little harder to find. Not in a cold, aloof, or distant way, but in the way a rare treasure captures attention precisely because it is special and not always within reach. Think about the moon on a clear night. When it's full, it's absolutely mesmerizing, casting a silver glow that feels almost magical, but part of its allure comes from the fact that it's not always there, shining brightly every single night. It waxes and wanes, appearing in its own rhythm, and that scarcity makes its presence all the more captivating. Your time, your attention, your energy, they're just as precious, if not more so. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor who ruled with wisdom through chaos, hinted at this principle when he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The foundation of being valued by others starts with valuing yourself first, recognizing that your presence is a gift, not a given, and treating it accordingly. Now imagine you are the person who is always available, constantly saying yes to every request that comes your way, answering every call the moment it rings, replying to every text within seconds, always ready to drop everything for someone else. It might feel like you're being helpful, supportive, or even indispensable, but in reality, it's exhausting, draining your energy and leaving you stretched thin. More than that, it sends a subtle but powerful message to others. I'm always here, so you can take me for granted. Your availability becomes the default, and over time, people stop appreciating it because they've come to expect it. Now let's flip that dynamic entirely. Instead of being the ever-present, always-on-call friend or colleague, become more like a rare book in a vast library. Available, yes, but not sitting on every shelf, waiting to be picked up without thought. You're a treasure that requires intention to seek out. A presence that feels special because it's not ubiquitous. This isn't about playing manipulative games or being intentionally distant to seem mysterious. It's about self-respect, about recognizing the worth of your time and energy and choosing to share them thoughtfully. The key here is to be deliberate about when and how you engage with others. Start by choosing your commitments carefully. Say yes to the things that truly align with your priorities, that light you up, or that genuinely matter to your goals and relationships. But learn to say no when something doesn't fit. That no isn't a rejection of others. It's an affirmation of your own value, a way of protecting your energy so you can show up fully when you do say yes. It's about setting boundaries that reflect your worth, ensuring that your presence is a meaningful contribution, not an automatic response. When you show others that your time is valuable, by not overextending yourself, by prioritizing your own needs alongside theirs, they begin to see it that way too. Your yes transforms into a gift, something to be cherished rather than expected. And your absence, when you choose to step back, becomes a reminder of how much your presence adds to their lives. This Stoic approach isn't about withdrawing from the world or becoming unapproachable. It's about balance, about ensuring that your engagement with others comes from a place of intention rather than obligation. When you treat your time like the precious resource it is, you create a shift in how others perceive you. You're no longer the person who's always there, fading into the background of their expectations. You're the one whose presence feels significant, whose contributions stand out because they're not overabundant. People start to seek you out, to value the moments they get with you, because they know those moments aren't guaranteed. Your attention becomes gold dust, rare and shimmering, something to be treasured rather than taken for granted. Here's a simple way to put this into practice. The next time someone asks for your time, whether it's a friend inviting you out, a colleague asking for help, or a family member needing a favor, pause before you respond. Take a moment to ask yourself, does this deserve my attention right now? Does this align with my priorities, or will it leave me feeling drained? If the answer is no, politely decline or suggest an alternative that works better for you. If the answer is yes, then show up fully, giving your best self to that moment. Start treating your presence with the reverence it deserves, and watch how others begin to mirror that respect, treasuring your time and energy just as you do. This small shift can ripple outward, transforming how you're seen and valued in all your relationships, Stoic style. Say no to protect your time. Building on the idea of making yourself a rare treasure, let's dive deeper into a related yet equally powerful concept, the transformative power of saying no. Stoicism isn't about bending over backward to please everyone or molding yourself into what others expect. It is about living true to your own values, crafting a life that reflects your deepest priorities and inner peace. Think of your time as a canvas, a finite space where you get to create your masterpiece, and your energy as the paint you use to bring that vision to life. But here's the catch. You've only got so much paint to work with, and if you let everyone else grab the brush, dictating how you spend your days, filling your schedule with their demands, you'll end up with a chaotic mess, a picture that's more about their needs than yours. Saying no isn't an act of selfishness or coldness. It's an act of profound respect for your own life, a way to protect your priorities, your peace, and the unique artwork you're meant to create. Picture this scenario. A friend reaches out, asking you to drop everything to do them a favor. Maybe it's the third time this week, and you're already stretched thin, juggling your own responsibilities and feeling the weight of exhaustion. Your instinct might be to say yes out of habit, fear of disappointing them, or a desire to keep the peace, but that knee-jerk agreement often leaves you depleted and resentful. Instead, try a different approach. Take a breath, consider your own needs, and respond with something like, "I can't right now, but let's find another time that works for both of us." That's not building a wall to shut them out. It's setting a boundary like the strong banks of a river that guide your energy and attention to where they truly matter. Ensuring your resources flow toward what aligns with your values rather than draining away into obligations that don't serve you. This simple act of saying no becomes a declaration of self-worth, a signal that your time isn't an infinite resource to be handed out indiscriminately. When you're selective with your time, your yes begins to carry a different kind of weight. It transforms from a default response into a deliberate commitment, a gift that shows you're truly invested, not just convenient. People start to notice. Your yes becomes a rare and meaningful offering, something they can trust because it's not given lightly. This shift mirrors the Stoic philosophy of living intentionally, focusing on what's within your control rather than chasing external approval. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher who navigated the complexities of wealth and power, would back this up with his insight. He said we are not poor because we lack material things, but because we crave more than we need. More validation, more acceptance, more ways to please others at our own expense. Don't fall into that trap of craving everyone's approval. Instead, protect your time like the valuable asset it is, and in doing so, you'll find that others begin to value the moments they get to share with you, recognizing the rarity and depth of your engagement. This practice of saying no isn't about cutting people off or becoming unapproachable. It's about creating space for the relationships and pursuits that truly matter. It's a tool for balance, allowing you to say yes to the things that light you up, whether that's a project you are passionate about, time with loved ones who reciprocate your care, or simply moments of solitude to recharge, while gently declining what pulls you off course. When you guard your canvas, you ensure that every stroke of paint contributes to your masterpiece, not someone else's. Over time, this intentionality builds a reputation as someone who's reliable yet discerning, someone whose presence is a privilege because it's offered with purpose. Others will start to seek you out, not because you're always available, but because your time and attention feel earned and significant. So here's a practical step to put this into action. This week, identify one thing you can say no to. A request that doesn't align with your priorities, a commitment that leaves you drained, or a habit of overextending yourself. And reclaim that space for your own canvas. Maybe it's declining an extra task at work that you don't have the bandwidth for, or politely bowing out of a social event that doesn't excite you, replacing it with something that nourishes your soul. Pause before you respond. Ask yourself, does this deserve my time and energy? And if the answer is no, set that boundary with kindness but firmness. This isn't just about saying no, it's about saying yes to yourself, to your peace, to the life you're building. That choice is your path to becoming a priority, not just in the eyes of others, but in your own life, Stoic style. Watch how this small act ripples outward, transforming how you're valued and how you value yourself. Embrace the art of mystery. Now let us explore a concept that adds a captivating layer to your presence. The power of mystery. There is something undeniably magnetic about someone who doesn't spill their entire story the moment they meet you. Someone who leaves you intrigued, wanting to know more. Stoicism teaches us the art of holding back just enough to spark curiosity, to invite others to lean in and wonder about the depths beneath the surface. This isn't about being secretive, aloof, or putting on a fake persona to seem interesting. It's about sharing your life like a well-crafted novel, revealing chapters slowly, page by page, keeping people hooked on the richness and complexity of who you are. When you master this balance, you create an allure that draws others closer, not because you're playing a game, but because you've shown that you're a story worth unfolding. Think of it like giving someone a treasure map to who you are. You mark a few key spots, maybe a glimpse of your passions, a hint of your dreams, or a small detail about a pivotal moment in your life. But you don't hand over every path, every twist and turn of your journey. Instead, you let them discover you gradually, piece by piece, as they walk the trail you've laid out. When you share selectively, you're not hiding yourself. You're creating a journey of discovery that invites others to invest in getting to know you. Imagine you're at a gathering, and instead of recounting your entire life story or oversharing every detail about your day, you drop a thoughtful nugget, perhaps a brief mention of a hobby you're passionate about, like your love for hiking in remote places, or a dream you've been quietly nurturing, like writing a book. You share just enough to pique their interest, but you leave the rest unsaid, letting their curiosity simmer. They might ask, "Oh, where do you hike?" or "What's your book about?" And suddenly they're leaning in, eager to uncover more. People start to see that there's depth to you, layers they want to explore, and that makes your presence all the more compelling. This approach isn't about manipulation or trying to control how others perceive you. It is rooted in self-respect, a core Stoic principle. When you choose what to share and what to hold back, you're sending a quiet but powerful message. I'm worth getting to know, and I don't need to overshare to prove my value. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, understood that true power comes from mastering your own passions, fears, and impulses, not from seeking approval by laying everything bare in a desperate bid for acceptance. Oversharing can sometimes stem from a need to be liked, a craving for validation that leaves you feeling exposed and, ironically, less valued. But when you share with intention, revealing yourself gradually, you create a dynamic where others feel privileged to learn more about you. It is a subtle shift that transforms how you are seen, from someone who is an open book, easily skimmed and set aside, to someone who's a captivating mystery, a novel they can't put down. This Stoic practice also protects your inner peace. By not feeling the need to reveal everything at once, you maintain a sense of control over your own narrative, ensuring that you're sharing from a place of authenticity rather than insecurity. You're not hiding who you are, you're simply pacing the revelation of your story, allowing others to appreciate each chapter as it unfolds. Over time, this creates a deeper connection, because people feel they've earned your trust, that they've been let into something special. Your presence becomes a gift, something they look forward to unwrapping over time, rather than a one-time download they can quickly move on from. Here is how you can put this into practice. The next time you're in a conversation and feel tempted to lay all your cards on the table, whether it's sharing every detail of a recent experience or baring your soul to someone you've just met, pause and hold one card back. Share something meaningful, something true to who you are, like a passion that lights you up or a small piece of your dreams, but leave a little unsaid. For example, if you're talking about your love for painting, mention a recent piece you're proud of, but don't dive into every detail about your creative process or your entire artistic journey. Let them ask. Let them wonder. See how this subtle restraint draws people closer, how it sparks their curiosity and makes them eager to know more. Notice how they start to lean in, asking questions, wanting to uncover the next chapter of your story. By weaving a little mystery into your interactions, you make your presence a gift, something others feel privileged to experience, and that's a Stoic secret to becoming truly valued. Invite others to invest in you. Here's a beautiful and often overlooked Stoic idea that can transform your relationships. Let others contribute to your life in meaningful ways. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher who found joy even in the face of adversity, spoke about the deep satisfaction that comes from being chosen for tasks or roles that enrich both yourself and others. This practice isn't about elevating yourself above others or being self-important. It is about fostering mutual growth, building bridges where everyone involved benefits. When you allow others to invest in you, whether through their time, wisdom, or support, you're creating a powerful cycle of giving and receiving that deepens connections and makes everyone feel valued. It's a simple yet profound shift that can turn one-sided interactions into partnerships, cultivating relationships where both parties thrive and feel a sense of belonging. Imagine your life as a flourishing garden, with you as the gardener, carefully tending to the soil, nurturing what grows there. But instead of working alone, you invite others to plant seeds in your garden, seeds of their wisdom, their support, their kindness, their unique perspectives. Maybe it's a coworker offering to help you brainstorm solutions for a challenging project, or a friend sharing advice about a decision you're grappling with, or even a family member lending a hand when you're feeling overwhelmed. When you accept those seeds, you are not showing weakness or admitting you can handle things on your own. You are showing trust, a quiet confidence in the strength of your relationships. By welcoming their contributions, you're saying, I value what you bring to my life, and I'm honored to have your support. And in return, they feel valued too, seen and appreciated for what they've offered. They become part of something bigger, a shared journey where both of you grow, where the act of giving and receiving becomes a bond that strengthens over time. This Stoic practice is rooted in the idea of interdependence, a concept Marcus Aurelius captured beautifully when he said, "What's good for the hive is good for the bee." In other words, what benefits the community, your relationships, your circle, your hive, also benefits you, the individual. When you let others contribute to your life, you're not just receiving help. You're creating a dynamic where everyone feels connected, where each person's efforts and care ripple outward, enriching the whole. It's a rejection of the modern tendency to go it alone, to strive for hyper-independence as a badge of honor. Instead, Stoicism reminds us that true strength lies in vulnerability, in the willingness to open yourself up to others' contributions, trusting that their involvement will add beauty to your garden. This doesn't mean you're dependent or incapable. It means you recognize the power of collaboration, the way relationships can become a source of mutual nourishment when you allow others to play a role in your growth. Moreover, this practice deepens the sense of connection and belonging in your relationships. When you accept someone's help or insight, you're giving them a chance to feel meaningful in your life, to see that their presence makes a difference. It's a gift to them as much as it is to you, a way of saying, you matter to me and I'm better because of you. Over time, this cycle of giving and receiving builds trust, creating bonds that are resilient and rewarding. You're not just a lone gardener anymore. You're part of a community garden, where each person's contributions help the whole space flourish. And as those relationships grow stronger, you become someone others naturally prioritize, not because you've demanded it, but because you've built a connection where both of you feel valued, seen, and appreciated. Here is a practical way to bring this Stoic idea into your life. The next time someone offers help, advice, or insight, resist the urge to brush it off with a polite, "Oh, I'm fine, thanks." Instead, welcome their contribution with open arms. Say something like, "I'd love your perspective on this," or "I could really use your help with this. Thank you for offering." Whether it's a colleague sharing their expertise, a friend giving you advice on a personal matter, or a loved one offering to lighten your load, let them plant that seed in your garden. Then, watch how it strengthens your bond, how their face lights up when they see their contribution matters, how your relationship deepens because of that shared moment of trust. You might even take it a step further and actively invite others to contribute, asking for their thoughts or support on something you're working on, showing them you value their input. This small act of openness can create a ripple effect, fostering a sense of mutual growth and appreciation. That's the Stoic way, growing together, building relationships that are as enriching for others as they are for you, and in the process, becoming someone whose presence is cherished because it's part of a beautiful shared garden. Put your needs first. This next Stoic principle might feel challenging at first, especially if you're used to putting others first, but it's absolutely essential. Prioritize your own needs. Stoicism isn't about neglecting the people around you or shirking your responsibilities. It's about building a strong, resilient foundation within yourself so you can show up fully, authentically, and sustainably for others. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher who faced wealth, exile, and political turmoil with unwavering clarity, captured this idea perfectly when he wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." This isn't just about material wealth. It's about the poverty of spirit that comes from constantly craving external validation, approval, or the satisfaction of others at the expense of your own well-being. Think of it like the airplane oxygen mask rule you hear during every flight safety briefing. You've got to secure your own mask before you can help anyone else. If you're running on empty, depleted, and gasping for air, how can you possibly be there for others in a meaningful way? Your needs, whether it's rest to recharge your body, personal growth to expand your mind, or emotional health to keep your spirit steady, are like water and sunlight for the garden of your life. Without these essentials, you can't thrive. You'll start to wilt, your energy fading, your presence diminished. Prioritizing yourself isn't about indulging in fleeting whims or ignoring the needs of those you care about. It's about making tough, intentional choices to ensure you're at your best. This might mean saying no to commitments that drain you, even if they come from people you love, or carving out time for the things that fuel your soul, like a quiet morning with a book, a walk in nature, or pursuing a passion project that lights you up. It also means setting boundaries that protect your peace, like limiting time with people who leave you feeling depleted or turning off your phone for an hour to focus on yourself. These choices aren't selfish, they're an act of strength, a commitment to building the inner stability you need to be a reliable presence for others. When you prioritize your needs, you create a ripple effect that benefits everyone around you. If you're constantly neglecting yourself, skipping sleep to answer late-night emails, saying yes to every request, even when you're overwhelmed, or ignoring your emotional health because you don't want to seem weak, you will eventually burn out. Your garden will wither, and you'll have nothing left to give. But when you take care of yourself, when you water your own roots with rest, growth, and self-compassion, you become a vibrant, flourishing presence, a pillar that others can lean on in their own moments of need. You're not just surviving, you're thriving, and that strength allows you to show up for others in a way that is genuine and impactful. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor who led through chaos while remaining grounded, would agree with this approach. He once wrote, Don't waste time debating what a good person should be. Just be one. Being a good person doesn't mean sacrificing yourself to the point of exhaustion. It means cultivating the inner resources to live with integrity, to support others without losing yourself in the process. This practice also shifts how others perceive and value you. When you honor your own needs, you send a subtle but powerful message. Your time, energy, and well-being matter. You're not a bottomless well to be drawn from endlessly. You're a garden that needs care to bloom. Over time, people begin to respect your boundaries because they see you respecting them first. They'll value your presence more because they know it's not given at the expense of your own health. It's a gift you offer from a place of abundance, not depletion. You become someone others can rely on, not because you're always available, but because you're steady, grounded, and whole. Here's a practical way to start. Take a moment to reflect and ask yourself, what's one need I've been ignoring lately? Maybe you've been skipping rest, pushing through exhaustion because you feel you have to. Perhaps you've neglected your emotional health, bottling up stress instead of addressing it. Or maybe you've put off something that brings you joy, like a hobby or time with loved ones, because you feel guilty taking that time for yourself. Identify that need, and then take one small intentional step to honor it. If you're exhausted, commit to an early night with no screens. If you're feeling disconnected from yourself, carve out 30 minutes to do something that makes you feel alive. Water your garden with that small act of care and notice how it shifts your energy. As you begin to flourish, you'll have more to share with the world. More patience, more clarity, more genuine connection. That's the Stoic way. Build yourself up so you can lift others up too, becoming a priority by prioritizing yourself first. Be the center of your own life. Here's a big and transformative Stoic principle that can shift the entire course of your life. Dawn to make others the center of your universe. It is all too easy to fall into the trap of living for someone else's approval, chasing their validation, bending your actions to match their expectations, and letting their opinions steer your ship through uncharted waters. This habit can creep in subtly, whether it's tailoring your words to please a friend, overworking to impress a boss, or altering your dreams to fit someone else's vision. But Stoicism offers a powerful counterpoint. You are the captain of your own journey. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher who navigated the complexities of power and personal loss, warned us wisely when he said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." When you anchor your worth in the opinions of others, you're sailing through imaginary storms, tossed around by their whims, their moods, their fleeting judgments, rather than steering toward the calm harbor of your own values. Picture yourself at the helm of a sturdy ship, the wind in your sails, the sea stretching out before you. Other ships, friends, family, colleagues, even acquaintances, sail beside you, their presence adding to the journey, but you hold the wheel firmly in your hands. Your goals, your values, your personal growth, these are the coordinates that set your course, guiding you through life's waters with purpose and direction. This doesn't mean shutting others out or ignoring their input entirely. It means choosing relationships that celebrate who you are, that lift you up and align with your authentic self, rather than demanding you change to fit their mold. When you keep yourself at the center of your universe, you're not being selfish. You're being intentional, ensuring that your time, your most precious currency, is spent on what truly resonates with your soul. This shift allows you to build connections that are mutual and enriching rather than one-sided and draining. The Stoics understood that true freedom comes from within, from mastering your own mind and emotions, rather than letting external forces dictate your path. When you rely on others to define your worth, whether it's a nod of approval from a parent, a like on social media, or praise from a peer, you hand over the wheel, leaving yourself vulnerable to the unpredictable currents of their opinions. But when you reclaim that control, focusing on your own growth and passions, you create a stability that others can't shake. Imagine a sculptor at work, chiseling a statue from a block of marble. Each strike is deliberate, guided by a vision that comes from within. You are that sculptor, shaping your life with intention, carving out a version of yourself that reflects your deepest values, not someone else's expectations. The less you seek external approval, the more you radiate a quiet, unshakable confidence that draws the right people in, those who appreciate you for who you are, not who they want you to be. This practice also protects your emotional well-being. When you stop making others the center of your universe, you free yourself from the imaginary suffering Seneca described, those anxious moments where you imagine rejection, disapproval, or failure based on someone else's reaction. Instead, you focus on what you can control: your actions, your efforts, your growth. This doesn't mean you become indifferent to others. It means you approach relationships from a place of strength, offering your best self because you've nurtured it first. You'll find that the people who truly matter, those who align with your values, will be drawn to that confidence, wanting to sail alongside you, not steer your ship. Here's a practical way to put this into action. Identify one passion or goal that's entirely yours. Something that excites you, that reflects your unique spirit, whether it's writing, learning a new skill, exploring nature, or pursuing a creative project. Commit to pursuing it fiercely, dedicating time and energy to it without worrying about what others think. Maybe it's setting aside an hour a week to sketch, or signing up for a class that's just for you. As you invest in this pursuit, notice how it shifts your focus inward, how it builds a sense of self that doesn't waver with others' opinions. The more you embody this self-directed strength, the more you'll attract people who value you for your authenticity, not your compliance. Be the sculptor of your life, chiseling with intention, and watch how your presence becomes a beacon that draws the right connections, relationships that enhance your journey, not derail it. This is the Stoic way to navigate life, keeping yourself at the helm, creating a life that's yours to steer and share. Listen more, speak less. Finally, let's explore a powerful yet often underappreciated Stoic practice: the power of stepping back, specifically by stopping the habit of initiating every conversation. This might feel counterintuitive in a world that rewards assertiveness and constant communication, but it's a game changer when done with intention. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who rose from slavery to teach profound wisdom, offered a gem that perfectly frames this idea. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. In a culture where everyone seems to be rushing to talk, interjecting with opinions, vying for attention, or filling silence with noise, being the one who listens becomes revolutionary. It's not just about staying quiet or shrinking into the background. It's about giving others the space to shine, to share their thoughts, to feel truly heard, and in doing so, creating a connection that stands out in a sea of chatter. Think about the last time someone really listened to you. No interruptions, no rushed attempts to offer a quick fix, no shifting the focus back to themselves, just their full presence focused on your words. It likely felt good, didn't it? Like you mattered, like your thoughts were worth their time and attention. That's the gift you offer when you let others take the lead in a conversation. By stepping back, you're not being passive or disengaged. You're being purposeful, intentionally creating a space where others can express themselves fully. This act of listening becomes a form of generosity, a way to honor the other person's voice, and it builds a bridge of trust and understanding that shallow, one-sided exchanges can't match. When you stop initiating every chat and instead invite others to step forward, you shift the dynamic from one where you are constantly proving your worth to one where you are revaluing theirs. This Stoic approach goes beyond mere silence. It's about active, thoughtful engagement. When you listen with intention, you're absorbing what's being said, understanding the emotions and ideas behind the words, and reflecting on how to respond in a way that adds value. It's a deliberate choice to use those 2 ears Epictetus mentioned, tuning in twice as much as you speak. This doesn't mean you never contribute. Rather, when you do speak, your words carry greater weight because they're rooted in what you've heard. They're thoughtful, considered, and meaningful, rather than impulsive or self-focused. Imagine a conversation where you resist the urge to jump in with your own story and instead ask, "What made that moment special for you?" Or, "How did you feel about that?" Allowing the other person to guide the flow. This creates a rhythm where they feel seen, and your eventual input feels like a natural, enriching addition rather than a competition. The beauty of this practice lies in its ability to deepen your connections. In a world obsessed with being heard, the act of listening sets you apart, making you someone people seek out because they know you'll give them your full attention. It is not about retreating or diminishing your own voice. It is about balancing the conversation so that it becomes a shared experience rather than a performance. When you step back from always initiating, you also free yourself from the pressure to constantly entertain or impress. This aligns with Stoic principles of inner strength, where your peace doesn't depend on external validation, but on your own ability to stay present and grounded. By letting others lead, you're practicing self-mastery, choosing when to speak and when to listen, which in turn builds a reputation as someone who's both wise and approachable. Here's a practical way to try this out. The next time you in a conversation and feel that familiar itch to jump in, whether it's set to share your opinion, offer advice, or steer the topic, hold back for a moment. Resist the impulse to take the lead. Instead, ask a question that invites the other person to elaborate, like, "What do you think about that?" Or, "Can you tell me more?" Let them guide the flow of the discussion, giving them the space to express themselves fully. Pay attention to their words, their tone, their emotions, and reflect on what they're sharing. When you do speak, let your response build on what they've said, adding depth rather than shifting focus. You'll be amazed at how this small shift deepens your connections, how people begin to feel comfortable around you, how they start seeking you out because they know you'll listen. This Stoic practice turns you into a rare presence, someone whose silence is as powerful as their words, and it transforms your relationships into something richer and more meaningful. Your journey to being valued. We have just walked through 7 powerful Stoic secrets designed to transform you into someone others naturally value, not by chasing their attention or bending over backward to please them, but by building a life rooted in authenticity, purpose, and inner strength. From making your presence a rare and treasured gift to listening deeply with intention, these practices go beyond just improving relationships. They bring about cultivating a deep respect for yourself that radiates outward. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, through their own lives of resilience and wisdom, demonstrated that true value doesn't come from external approval or fleeting praise. It begins within in the way you carry yourself, the choices you make, and the life you craft. When you live that truth, aligning your actions with your core principles, the right people, the ones who truly appreciate you, will notice and be drawn to your steady, authentic presence. So, here is my challenge to you. Take one of these practices and put it into action this week. Maybe it's saying no to a commitment that doesn't serve your well-being, holding back just a little to weave a touch of mystery into your interactions, or stepping back to let someone else initiate a conversation and listening with full attention. Experiment with it. See how it shifts the dynamics, not just with others, but within yourself. Notice how it makes you feel stronger, more grounded, more aligned with the version of yourself you're proud to be. Perhaps you'll find a newfound confidence in setting boundaries, a quiet power in revealing less, or a deeper connection when you let others lead. This isn't about perfection. It's about taking a step toward being irreplaceable, someone whose presence is cherished because it's intentional and true. And I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and share. What is one step you retaking this week to become irreplaceable in your own life and the lives of others? If this journey resonated with you, if these Stoic secrets struck a chord and inspired you to rethink how you show up, I'd appreciate it if you give this video a thumbs up. It lets me know I am on the right path to support you. Share it with someone who might need a nudge toward valuing themselves or building stronger connections, maybe a friend who has been overextending, a family member seeking purpose, or a colleague looking for balance. And if you're feeling it, drop "I am evolving daily" in the comments as a little signal that you are on this path of growth with us. It is a powerful affirmation of your commitment to becoming your best self. Subscribing is another great way to join our growing Stoic community, where we'll dive deeper into wisdom like this, exploring more ways to live with intention and strength. Together, we can support each other in this journey of self-discovery and connection. Thanks for being here, for taking the time to explore these ideas with me. You've shown up, and that is the first step toward building a life that is truly valued, not just by others, but by you. Now, go out there and put one of these practices into action. Start small, be consistent, and watch how it transforms your days, how it turns your presence into something rare, your words into something meaningful, and your relationships into something enduring. This is your chance to embody the Stoic wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, crafting a life where you're not just seen, but deeply appreciated. You've got the tools. Now it's time to use them. Build that life, step by step, and let your authenticity shine. I'm excited to see where this path takes you. Keep evolving, and let's continue this journey together.